Good day, friends. New client in today, so new projects on the go. And I don't know where this guy found me, but it's from Derby, which is about 25 miles away from here, is it? Bought me two lovely guitars in today. One is a Les Paul Custom, which is going to be another project. And this one here, and this is a beautiful, beautiful looking guitar, but it does have a couple of problems. And without further ado, I'll show you what it is. And what do we think? Of course, it's a PRS. It's a USA, it's a PRS 22 Custom USA model. You can say it's a custom. Look at the inlays, bird inlays, which nothing out of the ordinary there, but are these shell, polished shell probably. I think it'd be something better than abalone. Absolutely brilliant. It has had an upgraded bridge installed, upgraded lock-in tuners, PRS tuners, blah 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 blah. No backplate, no big deal. It has just a three-way switch on there. It's got push-pull on the pickups. This is a pickup upgrade. This is a Seymour Duncan Custom. I think it's an SH5 model. And yeah, there you go. 6-point tremolo. Not my favourite thing, but it's having a couple of problems with that, and certainly some problems with the nut. He says the G string just keeps going out of tune, and the tremolo's not staying in tune. Well, the 6-point tremolo, for starters, I could tell what's wrong with it. I've already lowered the two outside screws to the top of the tremolo. They were too high, and the four middle ones are also probably set too high, so I will get that sorted out. It's just about floating nice, probably pulling forward a little bit. I need a little bit more tension on the springs. I've checked the frets and they seem okay. The nut is an absolute, what's the word without swearing, I don't know what it is. It's a bit of a crapper, to be honest with you. What is wrong with this nut? Well, I imagine it's a Graphtech 6643, which is standard for a PRS type guitar, but the problem with these is the angle back. It angles back too much, and the string is only touching the front of the nut, this part here. It's only resting on there. If you look, I can push that down a lot, and that's not good enough. We need that string to be flat in that nut, probably angled just a little bit, but it's angled, the nut's angled too far down, so it's only touching the front. The back, the string is hanging in the air, and that is going to cause, always going to cause problems. Look, and the G string in particular is really quite bad. You're not going to see it from where you are, but it pushes in nearly 0.5 millimetre, and it's all over the place. So I thought it may be pinching in the slot. It doesn't seem to be, but I'm going to replace the nut, and I'm not going to go with a Graphtech 6643. The PT6643, which I believe is this one. I think it's that one. That's normal fare for a PRS because they fit perfectly. But I'm going to have to go with something with, instead of an angle top, a flat top. So I may have to go and pick up an acoustic nut, and I may have to shape it. If I've got a piece of bone, I could use that as well, but I want to stick with black. So I'm going to go and find another nut, or maybe a nut blank, and I'm going to carve a new one in there. Shouldn't need any fretwork. There's a bit of fret wear at the top end on the strings, the G, B and E strings, so it's getting a lot of play. This guitar gets a lot of play around here by looks of things because the frets are flattening out, but I didn't notice any high spots. I will know more once I've got the strings off. We'll level the neck and we'll go across with a fret rocker. But I'm thinking pretty much a standard setup on this guitar, a little bit extra for the nut work. We're going to need a new nut anyway. I've already given him a quote, he's happy with the prices. Tremolo setup, I'm sure we'll get it all absolutely right. There's no reason why that tremolo should be going out of tune at all. There's no reason why the G string should be pinching and going out of tune. The nut is going to cause a lot of problems. I say it's not the right nut for this guitar, but it would be the original nut. It's just, if my string's like that, I want it sitting flat on the nut, not like that where there's a gap between the back. You want it flush to the nut. So I'm definitely going to change the nut. I'm going to find out who's bringing me on my phone. But I will come back, I will get the strings off this guitar, I'm going to measure the nut so I can order a new one. We're going to get the strings off, we're going to get the neck absolutely straight, we're going to go across with a fret rocker, we're going to check all the frets. The electrics I imagine are okay, I will check them anyway as a matter of course. The tuners, great, I don't know what tuners they are, but they are a great set of tuners, and they were absolutely fine, really, really simple to use. And I think really that's about it. Nothing, no major issues that I can see. A lovely looking guitar, a couple of dings on it. This is a 1997 model. Let's just go over what it is. It will be a mahogany body, mahogany neck, rosewood fingerboard and a maple cap. That's what these come with. USA model, tremolo, needs a little bit of setting up. Nice big brass block on there. Beautiful tuners. They are PRS tuners. These have been changed as well. And beautiful looking thing. Upgraded. Is it an upgraded pickup? I would say it's a nice pickup. Seymour Duncan Custom. I love Seymour Duncan pickups, even though nowadays I tend to use iron gears a lot. My own guitars, I tend to go for. I'm actually using Oil City pickups at the moment. What a fantastic pickup they are! But there's nothing wrong with a custom from Seymour Duncan. Absolutely beautiful pickup. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to get the strings off. Going to get the neck straight. We're going to have a look at the frets. We'll measure the nut. We'll go and order a new one, and we will take it from there. The hat's on, that means things are getting serious. And yeah, we're getting into nitty gritty. So, good news regarding the frets. There are 2 frets that need attention. Nothing major at all, so that's going to keep the expense down. Just a couple of frets at the far end. Always the fret where the neck joins the body. That's a little problem, and that one has. And so is the one next to it. That's it. They're the only 2 frets that really need any specific attention. They're a little bit high. I will sort those out. Not removed. As I thought, this will be, as standard, the nut we use on a PRS guitar. All PRS guitars are these normally, which will be a PT6643. I actually have that in memory. I didn't need to bring this up and have a look at it. And that's the nut we normally use for PRS. But the problem with these nuts, I find, is even though it may fit perfectly on a PRS and the width is right and everything, the problem is this break angle there that slants down. The problem with that is the string sits flush at the top, but at the bottom part it doesn't touch this. The string is only resting on the first millimetre or 2 of the nut itself, and we would prefer to have a nut instead of arcing back, a straight nut like that, and we can create the arc of soles where it needs to be. So the problem is the string's only sitting in that first 2 millimetres of a nut. And that's not good enough. I like a string to be sat completely flush. If the nut's going like that, I want the string to be flush with the nut slot. And I like it to mate perfectly, like so. In this case, with the angle being further down, the nut is working like this. And you see, here's the string, and the string is sitting on the top of the nut, but that's it. But toward the back, there's a gap. And that is not giving us the stability. So I'm going to look for a nut different to this. I'm going to look for the same type of nut with a 36.3mm string spread, which is what it is. I've actually written down the measurements and I've measured them with my digital calipers, and I've got a 43mm wide nut with the highest point 7.83mm, and the thickness of the nut, or the breadth if you want, is 5.64mm. In inches that would be 0.22 by 0.31 by 1.69. You can see there where we are. And the string spread, or string spacing, 36.3mm. So I'm going to look for something very, very similar. I may have to go with a slightly wider acoustic nut, and I will actually reshape it. I'll file it and sand it down and get it to the right shape to fit this. But I don't want one angled back, I want one virtually straight on top, and I'll create that angle myself. I'll carve that in. So it's going to cost a little extra for putting the nut on this. Normally for a nut from a blank I'd charge 40-50 quid. Going to be a little bit less for this because I'm buying a nut blank. Well, I'm buying a nut anyway, which will be pre-carved, but it won't be exactly how I want it, so I'll have to carve it anyway. So I'm going to charge a little bit less. Good news is he doesn't need an intensive setup, he only needs a basic setup. So the price I've quoted him, we're going to get in just about around, we're going to get around about £100, all work completed, with the setup, with the tremolo done, and with it all completed, ready to play, ready to gig in supreme condition. So I'm going to crack on with that. I'm going to go and do some digging on the internet, find out what nut I can use. I know, for instance, a PT6643 is the right one for a PRS, but not in this case. I'm also doing a Les Paul of his. I know the PT6000 is correct for a Les Paul, and that's a PQ6000, sorry. And I already have one of those in stock. That perfectly fits his Les Paul, so I've already got that one there. So I don't have to look for anything for that, but I need to find an alternative nut to this one. If I have to get a bone one, I'll go with a bone one, but all being well, I'll be able to get a black tusk one. The only other black ones I could be able to get would be a graphite. I don't want to go with graphite, I want a tusk, T-U-S-Q, which is a man-made. It's not ivory, it's a man-made material. So I'm going to crack on with that. Good news is, the work's all been commandeered to do. I will be checking that actually there's a push-pull on the tone part. I imagine that's just a coil split. A regular standard 3-way. So I can't see anything untoward happening here. The frets look okay, they look to be seated okay. Some may have risen a little. There's a couple of flat spots, but there's nothing untoward in there at all. So I'm going to basically go and order my bits, and I can crack on with the work. Okay guys, we're back. It is a beautiful sunny day. It's a Friday morning. The nut took longer than a little bit longer than I expected to get here. I've lost 2 days this week because I've been waiting for stuff in the post. But here is the new nut for the PRS. And it is a completely different shape to the one that I would normally stick on a PRS. Stick it back in its paper there, look. There it is. And this is the model number PT614300. Cost a little bit more than I'd normally pay. It's cost 13 quid. But I'm just going to show and compare it to the one that came off. This is the nut that came off. And you'll see that this slopes down. And that angle is too much. And it means the string was only touching the top bit of the nut on this side. This one is a lot higher for starters, and it's only going slightly down at the back there. But the good thing about this is I've got that much excess at the top. I can flatten it across the top, and I'm going to have to cut these grooves a lot deeper anyway. And I'm going to show you on the guitar in a minute how much bigger this nut is, and I'm going to try and do it I'm going to hold the guitar here and I'm going to go as close to the guitar as I can without slipping off the desk. And what I'm going to do is, this is the original nut, and look at the height difference, there. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to try and zoom in. There you go. Look at the height of the nut. And the thing is, with that sloping backwards, it was sloping too much. Now the new nut that's going on there, I've already carved this nut. Look how much higher that is. It means I can carve the top of this nut, re-carve these slots, and I can make it flat across the top. So a lot more work for me. I'm going to hand carve it. I've already started work on the nut itself. Sorry about that, massive head there. I've been shaping it with some 240 grit just on a flat surface, going across, making it thinner because it needs to be thinner, making it shorter, finishing off with a 400 grit. And the nut is, the base is perfectly shaped. The thickness is right. I've filed down the nut shelf itself using a beautiful number 4 cut Swiss file, just to get it nice. I've got a safe edge here, which means I can always bring that up to the edge of the nut and not carve into something I don't want to carve into. So, beautiful. Just go there. So the nut shelf is carved, it's level, the nut fits really, really well. In fact, it fits beautifully. I'm thinking of gluing that in and shaping it while it's on the guitar, probably the best bet for me. That looks fantastic. You can't see it, but I can. That looks fantastic. So like I say, I'm going to glue that in, bring it back round. You will see, I'll just zoom in again. I don't want to be dropping this guitar. How much higher that nut is. Gives me a lot to work with, and I'm going to shape it while it is on the guitar. So I'm going to get that nut glued in. Once that's done, I'm not going to shape the nut yet anyway. I'm going to get onto the frets. Oh, scary big head. I'm going to get onto the frets. There are a couple need leveling. I'm going to get my neck all leveled up. Again, these frets are quite flat. In fact, they're very flat. Maybe I should have mentioned to them, maybe I should re-crown those. Some really, really flat in places. But what I'll do is I'll have a skim across, we'll see where we are. I'll come back, we'll get the frets marked up. That nut is going to be perfect. I'm going to glue that nut in first, like I said. And move on to the frets. Come back soon. So moving on to getting these frets level, and what we need to do first is we need to get the neck dead straight. So we've got the truss rod adjuster on there. We'll just have a tiny bit of relief, and I would have thought something like a 1/16 of a turn, about that much, would be enough to straighten that neck out, get us where we need to be. And there we go, that's beautiful. We have that neck absolutely straight. 25-inch scale on this one. This is a notch straight edge if you've never seen one. These notches go over the frets and over the nut, and we can determine how straight and level the neck is. That neck is absolutely straight. So remove. So as you'll see, I have a nut now glued on, much higher than it needs to be, which is good because we need to shape this top and we need to keep this flat. Instead of having it going angled down that way, I want it perfectly level. So that is really, really good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a fret rocker, we're going to go across all of these frets. It is a 22 fret affair. Fret rocker, 1, 2, 3, 4 edges, all different lengths. The reason they're all different lengths are we can do 3 frets at a time, and the further we move across the neck, we just alter the length that we measure with, like so. I'll show you all the way down the neck, and there you go. So that's the way we use this tool. I'm just going to pause the video a minute, back in a second. Sorry about that, my wife just walked in the back door with the dog, and the dog would have come running in here to see me, and the wife would have shouted hello and blah blah blah. So anyway, back to where we were. 4 different lengths, so we can do 3 frets at a time. The reason we do 3 frets at a time is if we get a rock, we know the middle one is high. So let's go across and check these frets. You must have a straight neck to do this. Tiny bit on that edge there, nothing to worry about that one. I know I said there were 2 high frets on here, I can't remember where they were, I think we're down this far end. So what we're going to do is we're just going to check. Sometimes it happens that you get the neck straight, you check again and they're fine. And if that is the case, not to do any extra work, will we? So I'm checking 3 areas, on the near side, in the middle and on the far side, and so far so good. Oh my, that's a tiny bit. Okay, this fret just a tiny bit. I'm not actually charging for these extra frets anyway. Let me just check one again. I mean, that's hardly anything. Wrong nib. There's nothing in that. That's a tiny bit high. I mean, there's nothing in these at all. I did say when I had 2 with the neck almost straight, not perfectly straight, that one's high, but that doesn't matter because it's the last one. It doesn't matter on this fret. Let's go down here and check this one where it's just slight. So there's nothing in these at all. There's one high one down here somewhere. Can I find it now? No. It's so minimal. So these frets are fine. These 2 need the slightest bit of attention. I mean, there's nothing in it at all. So this basically is having a setup, a new nut cut, shaped, a new nut and a setup. So it's not an expensive job. It's obviously got to pay for the nut. I will be setting the tremolo. That's always a little bit extra for the tremolo. Again, nothing major. Now this is going to be the most expensive of the 2 guitars is sent in. A little bit of dust in here we need to get rid of. So that's it really. Finest adjustment on these 2 frets. I could just grab my flat file right here and now, and I could probably do these just within a couple of strokes. So this is not something I'm going to charge for. Just slide across that one, slide across this one. In a setup you get the frets polished anyway. I mean, that is as much levelling as they needed. They're absolutely fine. So I'm going to take a crowning file. Again, profiling file, already got the groove cut in, 2.5mm wide this one, and all I'm going to need to do is just slightly flatten that top, just put that arc back in there. And that is as much work as those 2 frets need, so I'm not going to charge for anything like that, am I? All the frets will be polished shortly anyway, so what I'm really going to do now is we'll get some lemon oil on the fingerboard, let that soak in. This is going to do 2 things. One, it's going to remove any dirt and grime and sweat and dead skin. It will basically lift that, get underneath there. It'll also nourish the wood. Nice piece of rosewood this. So I'm going to leave that on 15-20 minutes. Once that's done, we'll wipe off the excess. I will polish the frets with some steel wool using a fret guard. There's no point me filming all of this. I've shown all this on the Les Pauls I did it yesterday. Show you what a fret guard is. Here's a fret guard, we'll just put that over the fret, and when I polish the fret, it's going to polish the fret and not the wood underneath, so we're not going to put any scratches in there. Got one for each end, thinner one for the far end. I will tape up these pickups so we don't get any iron filings or steel wool filings in the pickup. We'll just take a piece of Scotch 3M tape, tape over the pickup like so, we'll get no filings in there, and blah blah blah. We'll get these all polished, and then I can go to work on the nut. 2 main things I'm doing with this guitar is cutting the nut and setting the tremolo. So that's it. Back soon. Welcome back, guys, and we are at the stage where we are going to cut the nut. I'm going to zoom in just a little. You can see we have the neck clamped, padded either side, clamped. Here we have padding underneath, so if anything does happen, if this slips, it's going to drop onto padding. We're not going to damage the guitar in any way. What I've already done this morning is I've cut slots 6 and 1 a little bit deeper, getting close to where we need to be, because I'm going to have to remove a lot of material from the top of this nut. So I've taken my .046 file, which is the size of a 46 string. And so I had to remove these 2 tuners because they were right in the way, and with these big bulky locks on there as well. But I've now been able to go in and just slightly cut that groove there, and this one this side using the 10 again there, just to get them to more or less not exactly where I need to be, but getting closer, because I'm going to actually reshape, and in fact I'm going to remove quite a lot of material from the top of this nut because it is a lot higher than it needs to be. So I'll be using my sharpest file, which is probably not the right file, but I can now come across and start filing away. And this is going to take me a while, but you see I'm filing this nut flat across the top, and where the last one angled back, we're going to have this one flat. And so we're going to get the whole of the string in the nut across the whole 6mm of nut. It's going to be supported for the whole length. So we're not just balancing on this one edge of the nut like it was in the old one. And you see there I'm carving in. And I'm going to get this close to where I need to be. And I'll know when I'm getting closer. I probably need to know, but anyway, I'm going to crack on. I'm going to cut this knot, I'm going to level the top. Once that's done, I'm going to take the guitar off of here, we're going to get some strings on, we'll get his tuners back on, get some strings on, and we'll finish the knot off. So we are getting to where we need to be. Now it's still too high, I know that, but the shape, it is taking shape, it's getting close to the shape I want. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the guitar from here, and we're going to get some strings on. And we're going to cut these slots to the depth we need them cut in. I'll get the tuners back on, strings on, and we'll cut these, and then I'll come back. Once I've got these slots to the depth, then I can come back and do final shaping of the nut. And I will have to remove some material from the top, I know that already. Let me get some, I'm just going to grab hold of my welder's tool. And what I can do is, once I've cut the slots, I can just round them off with this. This is a welder's tool, and we're going to look for something pretty close to thickness of the string like this. And we're just a bundle of files, and it's just going to help us remove any burrs. And you can see how they work. And I always get something close to the width of the string, very close. I've got all different sizes. This one should be about right. And we're just going to go in there, and we're just going to. It's got a slightly serrated end, and we'll get one to fit each of these slots. And I will be cutting these slots, and I'll be shaping them, and I'll be removing any burrs with these. Like I say, the cutting is going to be done on the other bench. Now, only one little problem with this nut. It's slightly closer to this edge. It's right on the edge here, and it's a tiny bit inside here, and that's because I need the string alignment of the nut itself. And I've got the strings aligned exactly where I want them, so it may not be 100% perfect this side, but the nut is sat well, the string spacing is perfect, and the slots I'm going to cut, like I say, on the other bench. Just eyeing it from this side. We do have a slight angle going slightly backwards. I'm still going to flatten this. I don't really want it angling back too much. Let me get my arm out of the way. Be careful not to completely carve out these slots, because these slots are lined up where I need them to be. And all I'm doing is just flattening the top of that nut a little. And I will sand this part, and that is it. We've got the nut. It's only angled back ever so slightly. Not like before where it was like that. It's going to be just about there like that. And that is really looking pretty good. I can come and do the final shaping once I've cut the slots. So we moved over to the other bench, and I've put some strings on. And what I do in a case like this, these have got really, really strange locking tuners. And what you basically do is you line these up, you lay your string in there, and you just give it a quarter of a turn. It tightens against the actual, because the stem on this is not a perfect round, it's got a straight edge on it, and it locks in and pulls it in. And you'll see there I've got some straggly ended strings, and that's because there's no way I'm going to be using a brand new set of strings to set this up, then to have to ruin them, chuck them away while I finish the nut and put another set on. So I do have, and I've been doing this for quite a while, and what I do is when I get guitars in and we need a string change, or we're going to need a setup with new strings, I keep the old ones. And I have them all here, and they go right from 9 through to 52, 54 actually, 9 to 54. So I've got 49, I just have these in the wrong order. And I have plenty of them, and I use them specifically for jobs like this, where I need to put a set of strings on something, just to get it all set up properly and get a nut cut. And once these are done, I can chuck them away, and I've still got plenty left. So it's something I've been doing for quite a while. But anyway, just want to show where we are now with this nut, and I'm going to gently turn the guitar over, and I'm going to rest it down here, and I'm going to show, just here, look how high these strings now are above the frets, massively high. But what I can do is I'm going to cut the slots and the grooves in this nut with these strings on. And once I've got them to where they need to be, I'm going to remove these strings again, go back onto the other bench, and then I will re-carve the top of that nut. So we're going to get it perfectly shaped. It's a long-winded process, a long-winded affair. It takes a while, but I just want to show that and highlight. You know, sometimes you may think, well, it's a bit expensive to have a nut fitted and all this and all that and the other, but it's not a 2-minute job, you know, and time is precious to someone like me, because, you know, say for instance I do a refret's going to take me 16 hours from start to finish. You know, and I'm charging 160 quid for that. It's a tenner an hour. It's not a lot of money, is it? You know what I mean? So you've got to take these things into consideration. So when we charge for things like cutting a knot, and maybe we're going to charge you 40 quid or whatever, it's a couple of hours work, 2 or 3 hours work. With the setup, it's 3 hours, 3.5 hours. It's not a lot of money. You know, I'm not complaining. It's just, I'm just showing where we are and how we do this job. So I've got those grooves to cut in those slots. I have my Osco nut slotting files. Each file has 2 sizes on it. That one, for instance, has 17 and 46. That's string 3 and string 6. This one has 10 and 26. That's string 1 and string 4. And the other one will have 13 and 36, which will be strings 2 and string 5. We'll carve the slots in there. And like I say, we'll get back on the bench and get it all cut off. Something I have done right, also in the meantime, when I said this nut wasn't perfectly lined up left to right, I actually knocked it off, filed it back down and glued it back, and I've got it absolutely central now. There's something not quite making me happy about it, and I wanted to get it absolutely bang on, so we have got it bang on. It is sitting pretty. I could do with getting a little bit of dust underneath it and dropping a bit of super glue in there, because it is raising up one side slightly. It means the nut shelf is not absolutely level, but we can sort that out later. That's something we can do in a bit. So I'm going to crack on. I'm going to cut these slots. I'm going to turn the camera around. I will show you me cutting one slot. I'll have to do it slightly at an angle, and then I'm going to crack on and get the rest of them done. And here we are with the camera set a lot better. And I'm going to start on this one. And what I'll do is first I will take a feeler gauge, and I'll be going between the top of a fret and the bottom of a string. I want to go round about 0.4 just for getting it close. And we are, I'd imagine we are over 1 millimetre there. Just bear with me a second. Are we 1 millimetre? We're about 0.9 of a millimetre there, so I need to remove 0.5 millimetre from that slot, and just cut it 0.5 millimetre deeper. Now, we need to be careful that we cut it straight. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to move that just to the side there. I'm going to take the 46 cut 0.046. I hope you see that. I hope we're not too close with the camera. And I'm going to cut this slot deeper. And I'm going to try and keep it level, because I want this nut more level than the last one. And I'm going to just slightly angle each way, just to flare it open just a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just keep cutting and measuring, because you don't want to go too deep. And we are certainly getting there. We're making headway. Keep making sure we're straight. It's not important to be in tune. And we are just getting there, getting close to where I need to be. I'm quite happy with that. And I'm going to do the same with the next one. A lot higher than it needs to be. So we're just going to slip the string, just slip it over. We are going to get the right file that is still in the pouch. I'm going to loosen the E, just get it out of the way a minute. I'm going to drop that in there, and this one we need to go, I don't know how deep we need to go with that one. But we're always checking, we don't go mental, because if we take too much material out, we've got to replace the nut again. That's well over 1 millimetre already, look. That's a 1 mil feeler gauge there, and we've still got 0.5 mil on top. I would think we need to take 1 millimetre out of this. So we're going to take the 36, and we're going to start carving into this slot, keeping it straight, keeping it level. It's quite easy to go a bit gung-ho with these. So what we do is we'll just keep checking back. I've done it before, I thought, oh, I can carve loads out of that, gone mental, and I've gone too far. So that is just down to 1 millimetre. So let's go back to the 0.4. See where we are. Got quite a ways to go yet. But you see, make sure we're going straight. And we're going level. I'm just slightly flaring it open. Well, just getting there, getting to where we need to be. And you see how it's working now. I'm just going to flare open just that little bit. And I think that's pretty close to where I need it to be. And that is close enough. So I'm going to crack on, cut the rest of the slots. Try to test this one again. go a little bit deeper with that one. But we are getting there, you see how it works. And again, nice and steady. We're looking for a nice even rounded slot. And that is getting close to where I need it to be. I'm going to cut the other 4 slots. Once that's done and we've got close, I'm going to come back again. I'm going to cut them to exact tolerances where I want. I'm going to want about 0.25 on the high E and about 0.35 on the low E. And we're going to go a graduation in between all the way along. Once I've got these slots cut, I can remove the strings again. We can go across, we can re-carve the top of the nut, bring it to exact shape, and then we will be done. And here we are, very, very close where we need to be. So we've still got a little bit more adjustment to go, especially on these 3 strings and probably on these 2, but 17 is absolutely fine. So what I can now do is, I can get these strings off, go back over to the other bench, and I can flatten this nut, re-carve it and get it so these strings are kind of off out, off in, off out, and these are just sat inside the full slot. Once that's done, we can reset up again with new strings and we'll be where we need to be. I've also got to set the tremolo floating, which is something I will obviously get on with later. So check back soon. Right, I think we are just about there with this nut, and I will show you as it is now. I'll just get a little bit closer to the camera. And there, I think you can see. I'm not going to turn it around too much because I don't want to knock in the tripod. And there you go, you're going to see it from the side. And now it is much more level across the top rather than angling right back as it was before. And the strings were already touching that bit. Now the strings are going to be rested completely in that slot along the whole width of the nut, 6mm. And it is really set in very, very nice. We've got a nice level carve and it looks beautiful. And that is going to be a lot better. We've managed to clean up all this area. We had a bit of glue spillage down there, which I've managed to get rid of. And it looks absolutely fine. That is going to be brilliant. So what I need to do now is, just need to finalise these slots. And I'm going to put a new set of strings on this guitar now, the brand new set that came with it. A set of 1046s, I believe. I'm going to set the tremolo. And we're going to carve those slots to the final depth. They are no more than 0.05 of a millimetre out. So if I do need to adjust any at all, it is just by the tiniest amount. But that nut looks a lot better than the one that came off. I'm really pleased with that. Looks fantastic. We will sand it over the top, get it nice and shiny, and that will be it. So hopefully next time you see this guitar, we will have it done. Time is pressing on today. I have this and a Les Paul to do, and I have something else lined up if I do get done earlier. This and Paul's other guitar should both be done today. In fact, they should have been done by now, but I have had some urgent jobs coming over the weekend, some rush jobs, so I got them done on Saturday, but that was fantastic. So, come back for final update soon. So this PRS Custom 22 USA model is all done. We have basically given it a complete setup, recut a new nut, and there you go, and set the tremolo perfectly floating like so. Everything is working absolutely fine. Just remove that tremolo arm a minute. The guitar plays sweet, the action is beautiful. Tuners were a bit, not fiddly to get used to, but a little bit different. They basically lock in, you just do half a turn and the string is locked inside. There is the new nut. Now the problem we had with the old nut, which I've not got to hand, the old nut, it had a break angle going towards the string tuners this way, and the angle was too much, so the string was only sitting on the top half of a nut and coming off at this angle, so I decided to go and buy an oversized PRS nut. Totally wrong nut for this guitar. I bought it oversized. I've had to hand carve it and file it down to size and finish it off like so. So we have a much straighter nut on that back end. We've got a much better angle of the strings coming over, and the nut is cut properly. We've got these three sat half in, half out, and these three sat in the groove. It looks fantastic. It's beautiful. Much better. I wonder if you can see from that angle. You probably can. There you go. We're looking up there, aren't we? So you can see that knot there. Beautiful. So that's the guitar all done. There's no backing plate with it. I've not checked the electrics yet. I'm going to check them in a minute. But the guitar is done. It's a beautiful looking thing. And it's ready to go. So as always, when I'm wrapping up a project, it's me signing off. I'm Victor Christian. I'm your fret friend. Check my webpage, facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. That's facebook.com/NG17. I'll repeat that because I tripped over my tongue there. facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. Keep your eyes peeled for I'm having a website built. That will be up at fretfriend.co.uk. You can check that out in a week or two. But that is Victor Christian signing off. Another project finished. So until next time, boys and girls, God bless. Be good to each other, and I'll see you soon.